amino acids, like the hormones that are secreted from the thyroid gland. What does a hormone do? What are these hormones doing in our body? So hormones, they affect your behavior, how you behave. Hormones, they affect the function of your body. Some hormones, they are released during puberty. Some hormones are released during period. When you have the period, some hormones are being released that time. Some other hormones are released during pregnancy. And some hormones are released when you are in stress. So when you are stressed, some hormones are being released in your body. Okay? So again, what does the hormone do in our body? They affect a lot of things in our body. They affect the behavior. They affect the function of our body. Some hormones, they are released during puberty. Some hormones during period or menstruation. Some hormones are released during pregnancy, and some are released when you are stressed. Page 122. Okay? So in this system, we want to know two words. The first word is called hypersecretion. What is hypersecretion? What will happen in our body if this hormone is too much? What it will do to your body? The other word we need to know in this system is hyposecretion. What does it mean, hyposecretion? What will happen in your body if this hormone is low or deficient? Okay, in the body, what will happen? So again, so far we said what is endocrine system? It's a system made of glands. These glands, they are secreting directly into our blood. So they don't have ducts or tubes. They are directly produced in your blood. Okay? And we said that hormones, they are made of protein, like insulin, or they are made of steroids, like cortisone or cortisol, or they are made of amino acid, like the hormones being released from your thyroid. Okay? Then we said what's the idea of the hormones? They affect a lot of things in our body. They affect the function of your body. They affect the behavior. They affect your puberty, your period, your pregnancy, and during stress. Okay? Then we said in this system, I want to know if this hormone is too much, what will happen in my body? If this hormone is less, what will happen in my body? Okay? Okay, let's open page 125. So like you can see, this is all the glands that are found in your body. So we have one here in the center of the brain. It's called pineal body. Then under that one, you have something deep in your brain. It's called pituitary gland. If you go down, you have here the thyroid. And then you have at the back of the thyroid another gland. It's called parathyroid. If you go down in the chest, we have a gland. It's called thymus gland. Then here on top of our kidneys, we have two glands. It's called adrenal glands. So in anatomy, kidney is called renal. So the gland on top of the kidney, it's called adrenal. Okay? You will go down, you have the pancreas. This is what has the insulin. Then of course in women, we have the ovaries. And in men, they have the testes. Okay? So now we will get to know each of this gland, what hormone it secretes, and if this hormone is too much, what will happen? And if it's low, what will happen? So let's start with the first hormone, page 124. The first hormone or the first gland is the pituitary gland. What is pituitary gland? Pituitary gland is a gland at the base of your brain. So it's here, at the base. So for the pituitary gland, this gland is divided to two parts. Front part, it will secrete some hormones, and the back part of this gland, it will secrete different hormones. So it's divided to two parts. Anterior lobe hormones. This is the front part of the gland, and it's divided to posterior lobe hormones, and this is the back part of the gland. Each part secretes different hormones. So let's start with the first part, anterior lobe hormone. The first hormone secreted by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland, it's called human growth hormone, HGH. Human growth hormone, growth. So it's for what? For the growth and for the height of a human, okay? What do you think if this hormone is too much? What will happen? Something called acromegaly. This is the name of the disorder, or gigantism. What does it mean? A person will be giant. They will be very tall, very big hands. Even the jaw is big. They have emotional disturbance. Okay? They feel hot flushes. They feel hot. Okay? So again, if human growth hormone is hyper secreted, it will cause acromegaly or gigantism. A person will be giant. What about if it's hypo secreted? If this hormone is less in the body, what will happen? Dwarfism. A person will be short. So they will have dwarfism. You know that? Okay? The second hormone being released by the anterior lobe of pituitary, it's called melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH, from the name melanocyte. So it's for the melanin production in your hair or in your skin, in your eye, anywhere that has melanin. So this is the hormone responsible to produce melanin. That's it. You don't need to know what will happen, hyper or hyposecreted, okay? The third hormone being released by the anterior lobe of pituitary, it's called thyrotrophin. From the name, thyrotrophin. So it controls the thyroid gland. Where is the thyroid gland? Here, okay? Okay. The fourth hormone by the anterior lobe of pituitary, it's called adrenocorticotrophin. Adrenocorticotrophin. Remember when we said that the kidneys are called adrenal glands, and the gland on top of the kidney, it's called adrenal glands, okay? So for the pituitary gland, we said that this gland, it's divided to two parts, front part and back part, okay? For the adrenal gland, the gland on top of your kidney, it's also divided to two parts, but not front and back. It's divided to something called adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla, okay? So for the adrenocorticotrophin hormone, it's controlling the adrenal cortex part, okay? Just know like this, we will take in details what is adrenal cortex. Okay, so far we said 4 hormones by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. The first hormone, human growth hormone, for the height and growth. The second, melanocyte stimulating hormone for the melanin production. The third, thyrotrophin, controls thyroid gland. Number 4, adrenocorticotrophin, controls the adrenal cortex. What is adrenal cortex? We will get to know. Okay, just leave it now. The 5th hormone by the anterior lobe of pituitary, it's called prolactin or lactogenic hormone. What is this? Prolactin, lactose, right? So it's for the milk production after pregnancy. Next, we have another hormone by the anterior lobe. It's called gonadotropin. gonadotrophins. Or the other name of it is sex hormones. What are the sex hormones? For the ovaries, for our ovaries, they produce what? Estrogen and progesterone, right? So this is the woman's sex hormone. For men, the tests, they produce the tests. What they produce? Testosterone and sperm, okay? After that, 4, 5, 6, 7th hormone is called follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. What is the follicle stimulating hormone? This is something that stimulates our ovaries to produce estrogen. So it stimulates the ovaries to produce estrogen. For men, it will produce the sperm. So follicle stimulating hormone, it's found both in women and men. In women, it will stimulate the ovaries to produce estrogen. In men, it will stimulate for the production of sperm. Last but not least, we have another hormone. It's called luteinizing hormone, but this is only in women. It's not in men. So for luteinizing hormone, it will produce the other hormone of the female, which was progesterone, right? So for follicle stimulating hormone, we said it will produce estrogen. What is the other hormone? Progesterone. So it will be produced by the luteinizing hormone. Of course, also men, they need something similar. So they have also another hormone. It's called luteinizing hormone in men, or it has a different name. It's called interstitial cell stimulating hormone. So this will produce the sperm and the testosterone in men. So it's similar to this one, but because this is only in women, men have something similar. Okay? Okay. So if I ask you a question and I tell you, what is the function of the prolactin hormone?
To produce
Milk. Okay. If I tell you, what is the hormone responsible to control the adrenal cortex? Adrenocorticotrophin. Even if you will not know the name, because you will not write it, you will have choices. So I'll give you 4 choices. If I ask you a question and I'm telling you, what hormone controls the adrenal cortex? I will give you 4 options. It will be melanocyte stimulating hormone. No, it's not that one. I will give you the second option, human growth hormone. Not that one. Third option, it will be prolactin. Not that one. And then you will have only one left. Okay? So even if you don't know, I know this is difficult chapter. Maybe it's not even interesting for you, but in the exam, answering it will not be difficult. Okay? Okay, so if I ask you, which hormone is responsible for the production of melanin? Melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. Okay, true or false, hypersecretion of human growth hormone causes dwarfism?
false.
False, it doesn't cause dwarfism, it causes acromegaly, hypersecretion. Okay? True or false, luteinizing hormone is found in both men and women?
No, false.
False. It's only in women. Follicle stimulating hormone, it's in both. Okay? So like you can see, you have many things that can do the same function. So that's why sometimes when you do hormone test, it's not that much okay, but it's still okay. Because one thing is still working well, but the other thing is not working well. So it's always like this. In your body, you have many things that do the same job. Same for your immune system. You have a lot of things that works for your immunity. Okay?
So they named like the women like the cycle names according to these hormones, because for example there is like follicular phase, there
Exactly.
is luteal phase.
Yes. We will get to know the
ovulation.
3 stages
Yeah.
also today, by the way. Okay, so yes, exactly. Follicle stimulating hormone,
Yeah.
follicular phase.
Yeah.
Luteinizing
Luteal.
hormone, luteal phase. Exactly. Okay, any questions for the anterior lobe hormones? Any questions? Just names are difficult. I know the names are difficult, but in the exam it's only choices. You don't need to write the name. I know if you write it, it's much more difficult.
Yeah.
What about the posterior lobe hormones? For posterior lobe hormones, it's only 2 hormones. Here we have a lot for anterior lobe. Posterior lobe, only 2 hormones. The first hormone is called antidiuretic hormone. Diuretic, so it means what? Related with water. So it's for the water absorption. The other name of the antidiuretic hormone is vasopressin. So you can see it in both names, either antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin. So it's for water absorption in your body. What do you think will happen if too much antidiuretic hormone? Swelling, right? You'll have too much water in the body. So what will happen to the person? They will have swelling, edema. The opposite, if it's hyposecretion of antidiuretic hormone, what will happen? Something called diabetes insipidus. It's not the diabetes mellitus related to the blood sugar. This is different. It's related to water absorption. Okay? So again, if I have too much antidiuretic hormone, swelling. Too much water, so it means the body will be swollen. If it's hyposecreted, less vasopressin in the body, it will cause something called diabetes insipidus. Okay? The second hormone being released by the posterior lobe, it's called oxytocin. What is oxytocin? This is a very important hormone. This is the hormone that will cause the uterus to contract so that the baby delivery can start. And also after baby delivery, this is also the hormone that will make the breast tissue or the mammary glands to contract for the milk production to start. So it's a very important female hormone. Okay? Again, it will cause the uterus to contract for the childbirth, and it will cause the mammary glands to contract for the milk production. Okay? Any questions for the first gland and the hormones? Anything you don't understand? Okay, if I ask you a question and I tell you, all are anterior lobe hormones except, and I will tell you human growth hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and antidiuretics. Antidiuretics, because antidiuretics is posterior lobe hormone, not anterior. So I gave you 3 hormones from the anterior and only one was wrong, which is the vasopressin or antidiuretics. Okay. Next we have the thyroid gland. For the thyroid gland, it secretes 2 hormones. Yes?
Change temperature because
It's called?
yeah, 30.
Gland is the thyroid gland. For the thyroid gland, it's situated in the side of the neck, so it's here. Okay? The first hormone being released is called thyroxine or triiodothyronine. So thyroxine or triiodothyronine. These hormones are responsible for our metabolism, burning. That's why sometimes when a person is dieting, they are not losing weight, they will go check the thyroid. Maybe they have some problems, that's why they cannot have good metabolism. Okay? So for the thyroxine or triiodothyronine, if it's hyper secreted, it's too much in the body, it will cause something called thyrotoxic toxicosis. What does it mean? Toxicity of the thyroid, or a disease that is called Graves' disease. You just need to know the name of the disease. You don't need to know the signs and symptoms, but it has a lot of signs and symptoms. The heart rate increases, they have heat intolerance, also they can have an anxiety, they have frequent bowel movement, they go to the toilet a lot, okay? Not like a normal person, they go a lot.
Lose weight. Yeah.
They lose weight, yes, okay? Because they have high metabolism. The metabolism is too much. Whatever they eat, they are losing. They will never gain weight for these people.
And they can't sleep.
Yes,
very
they
well.
have sleep disturbance, a lot of signs and symptoms. Okay? What will happen if it's hyposecreted, if it's less in the body? It will cause a disease in children. It's called cretinism. But in adults, it has another name. It's called myxedema. Just know.
Different names for.
Yes, in birth or in children, it has a name, and in adults, it has another name. Okay? Of course, also the signs and symptoms depend. Like in children, they will not have same signs and symptoms like adults also. So it has different names. Okay? The second hormone by the thyroid gland, it's called calcitonin. From the name, calcitonin, calcium. So it's for the calcium and phosphorus absorption. So for this hormone by the thyroid gland, we will only learn hypersecretion. It's not in the book, the hyposecretion. Okay? So the hypersecretion of the calcitonin, it will cause lowering in blood calcium. Of course, you will tell me how it's hypersecretion and blood calcium is low. Because when the calcitonin is hypersecreted, all the calcium will be deposited in the bone. So in the blood, it will be low. Okay? So that's why if it's hypersecreted, blood calcium is low. Because all the calcium is going to the bones instead of the blood. Okay? Any questions for the thyroid? So again, I have two hormones being secreted by the thyroid. Thyroxine or triiodothyronine, it's for metabolism, and the calcitonin is for the calcium and phosphorus absorption. So if I ask you, and I tell you, true or false, myxedema is caused by the hypersecretion of thyroxine. Myxedema is caused by the hypersecretion of thyroxine. Is it true or false?
No,
False. It's by the hyposecretion of thyroxine. Okay. If I tell you lowering in blood calcium is caused by which hormone? Calcitonin. Lowering in blood calcium is caused by lowering in the hypersecretion in the calcitonin. Okay. What are the two hormones being secreted by thyroid gland? Thyroxine and calcitonin. Okay, very good.
Names very difficult.
Names are crazy, not difficult. You feel like your mouth will be paralyzed when you are saying the names. Okay. The third gland is the parathyroid. For the parathyroid, it's 4 glands at the back of the thyroid. They secrete only one hormone. It's called parathormone. Okay? For parathormone, it controls the calcium and vitamin D levels. So if it's hypersecreted, if parathormone is too much in the body, it will cause something called hyperparathyroidism. Same name of the gland itself. Hyperparathyroidism or soft bones. So a person will be breaking more easily. They will have fractures easily because the bones are soft. And the hyposecretion of the parathormone will cause hypoparathyroidism or something called tetany. What is tetany? Tetany is like cramp or spasm, but it comes only to the hand and feet. Same as the cramps you can get here, but it comes to hand and feet. So this is called tetany. Okay? Any questions for the parathyroid? So hyperparathyroidism, the name of the gland, parathyroid. Hyperparathyroidism or hypoparathyroidism. Okay, same name of the gland. It's still cold? You can change your place if you want. Because maybe you're under the AC. I put it on the lowest thing just for air, that's it. But it's on 1 and 20. Next we have the adrenal glands. So gland number 4 is adrenal glands. What is adrenal glands? Glands on the kidney. We said the kidney is called renal. Then I have a gland here and gland here. This is called adrenal. So this is renal, this is adrenal. Okay? So for the adrenal gland, it's divided to 2 parts. Adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Cortex is this part, outside part of the gland here, and the inside part is called medulla. Even the kidney, it's the same. The outside part of the kidney is called cortex, the inside part is medulla. So the gland also, outside part is adrenal cortex and inner part adrenal medulla. Each of them secretes different hormones. So let's start with the adrenal cortex. The first hormone by the adrenal cortex, it's called mineralocorticoids. Or the other name is called aldosterone. From the name mineralo, minerals. What minerals we have? Salt, right? Salt is a mineral. Iodine also is a mineral. So what do you think will be the function? Regulate salt in the body. So the function of this hormone to regulate the salt in the body. Imagine if it's hyper secreted, too much salt in the body, what will happen? Blood pressure will increase, right? What else? The kidneys will fail. Why? Because they will be filtering a lot of salt. So what will happen? Kidney failure or increase in blood pressure. If it's hyposecreted, it will cause a disease called Addison's syndrome. Addison's syndrome is just the name of the disease, same as diabetes. This is the name of the disease, okay? Dwarfism, it's a name of the disease, but it has signs and symptoms. It's not important for you to know the signs and symptoms. So people that have Addison's disease, they have weakness all over the body. They have muscle atrophy. What does it mean? The muscles, they don't have tone. They look like chicken legs, very small muscles, okay? The second hormone released by the adrenal cortex, it's called glucocorticoids. Or the other name of it is cortisol and cortisone. Okay? For the glucocorticoids, the function of it to metabolize,
Muscle.
it metabolizes the carbohydrates, the fats, and proteins. So also it's part of the breaking down of the carbohydrates, fats, and protein. This is the second hormone after calcitonin. Remember, we took calcitonin in the thyroid, only hypersecretion we took. Remember? This is the second hormone that we will only learn hypersecretion. The hypersecretion of this hormone causes a disease called Cushing syndrome. Again, it's just a name of the disease. It has a lot of signs and symptoms. A person will have moon-shaped face. They have circular face. They will have muscle atrophy. They can have diabetes and high blood pressure at the same time. Okay? A lot of other signs and symptoms. Just you need to know the name. That's it. You will not be asked about signs and symptoms. Okay? Any questions for these two hormones? Mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. This one we will only learn hypersecretion, like the calcitonin, we only learned hypersecretion. The third and the last hormone by the adrenal cortex, it's the sex hormones. So for the female, it's the progesterone and estrogen, and for the male, it's the testosterone. But of course, we as a female also we have testosterone in our body, but it's in low levels.
Yeah, what is which gland is producing that?
Which one?
For woman, adrenal, testosterone,
Testosterone, adrenal.
adrenal.
We have it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes? So what will happen if a woman will have high testosterone? What do you think?
Acne skin.
We will have, of course, acne, yes, because of
Hair,
the
hair
hormonal imbalance.
losing.
Here.
Yes,
Hair losing.
this is very important, menstrual problems.
Androgen hair.
So we will have hair growth in areas that we don't have hair in,
Yeah.
like chest, these areas,
Yeah.
right? What else?
Losing hair from hair.
Yes, and also the voice changes.
Voice,
The voice will start changing. And the most important and the third thing that will happen, it's the menstrual problems.
Yeah.
So in a female, you have only 3 scenarios that the period can stop. Either a woman is pregnant, so of course during pregnancy, a woman doesn't have period. Or menopause, so after 55 or something, a woman period will start stopping gradually. And the last thing is the high testosterone. This case is called amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is the stopping of the period because of high testosterone levels. Okay? So again, for the sex hormones, we said for a female we have estrogen and progesterone, but in testosterone we have it low levels. If it will increase, it will cause hirsutism. Hirsutism is the appearance of hair in areas we don't have hair. And the second thing is the changing of the voice. And the last and the most important thing is the stopping of the period. Okay?
So basically, I'm sorry, ovulation doesn't happen.
Exactly, yes. And also for men, they have the testosterone and they have estrogen, but very low levels. What will happen if the estrogen, of course they don't have progesterone, but estrogen they have it in low levels. What do you think will happen if estrogen in men will increase?
They develop breasts.
Yes, so they will have breast growth. Also they will have hip more wide,
Yeah, belly.
because belly, of course. Why? Because for a normal man, the features are very wide and masculine, upper body, and then down they are narrow. The legs, the hips are narrow. They don't have this hip, okay?
Yeah.
So for men, if the estrogen will increase, they will have hip growth, they will have breast growth, okay? And muscles will be atrophied. So upper body, they will have sagging in the breast, they will have belly, okay? This kind of features. And for the hyposecretion of sex hormones, it will also cause Addison's disease. Okay? Any questions? So we just spoke about the malfunction of the hormones, what will happen in a female body or in a male body. And for the hyposecretion in the sex hormones, if they are not being secreted, then it will cause this same disease that is happening also because of mineralocorticoids. Okay, for the adrenal medulla, the second part of the adrenal gland, it secretes only one hormone, which is the adrenaline or the noradrenaline. What is the adrenaline or noradrenaline? Stress hormones, right? So when we are stressed, what will happen in our body? Heart rate increases, right? Blood pressure increases. What else? Sugar levels,
Sweating.
they will increase. You will sweat, exactly. What else? All the organs that I need during stress situation, the blood that will go there, it will dilate. So too much blood, for example, I'm fighting now, too much adrenaline. So I need to punch someone. So if I will punch someone, then these muscles, they will have vasodilation. A lot of blood will go to this muscle to prepare me for the stressful situation. Okay, so again, for the adrenal medulla, secretes only the adrenaline and noradrenaline, and those are the stress hormones. And as we said, the body during stress, higher heart rate, higher blood pressure, sugar levels are disturbed, and also there will be vasodilation to the organs that I will need the blood to go there. So of course, for my digestive organs or urinary organs, I don't need them when I'm stressed. I'll not pee, I will not also eat when I'm stressed, right? So this kind of organs, the blood pressure there will reduce because there is vasoconstriction in the blood vessels, okay? Okay. Next, page 126, we have the pancreas. Pancreas, it has special cells that we took it in the digestive system. Remember, it was called islets of Langerhans. So pancreas has special types of cells. What are those cells? Those are the cells responsible to produce the insulin and glucagon for the blood sugar levels. So what will happen if the insulin is hypersecreted? Too much insulin in the body, then the blood sugar levels will go down. So always insulin and blood sugar, it's the opposite. Insulin is high, blood sugar is down. Insulin is low, blood sugar will go up. Okay? So hypersecretion of insulin, it will cause hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia, it means blood sugar is down. And hyposecretion of insulin, it will cause diabetes mellitus, which will be high blood sugars. Okay? Okay, next we have the female hormones that are secreted by the ovaries. Same thing what we said already in the sex hormones. So we have the ovaries, they secrete estrogen and progesterone, and in male, the estrogen is in small amounts. If it's hypersecreted, they will have muscle atrophy, breast growth, and hip width will be more. And of course, as you know, if any problem, I will close it at all.
For now, at least. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the North Pole.
Siberia.
Antarctica.
Yeah. Of course, as we know, for the ovaries or the female hormones, if there is any malfunction, there is any problem in the hormones, it will cause PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. The ovaries, they will have some cysts or follicles, and of course, the period will not be balanced. Also, we will have hair growth in areas, we will be gaining weight very easily, a lot of signs and symptoms. Okay? The seventh gland is the testes, which secrete the testosterone. It's just repetition, just separately for women and men. For the testes, also they secrete testosterone. As we said, females, they have it in small amounts. And we said that in female, if too much testosterone, then a female will have hair in areas that we don't have hair, and she will have amenorrhea, which is the stopping of the period. Okay, this is just a repetition of what we said, but separately. Okay, last but not least, we have gland number 8. It's called pineal body. Pineal body, it's a gland in the center of your brain, This is the gland that secretes the melatonin. What is melatonin? So for us as a
It's,
normal human, we need to sleep when it's night and you wake up when the sun is up. That's why they tell you always the best sleeping time is by 10 to 5, right? This is the best period. When the sun is up, you need to wake up early. And when the sun is down, 10:30, because some countries, as you know, the sun like will stay till 9:30, 10, it will still be there. So 10:30, you will go to bed. This is the best time for sleeping. So for the melatonin, it's responsible for your body rhythm and respond to sunlight as a natural human. So if any problem happened in the melatonin, any malfunction, like for example, you traveled from the US, you came here, what you will have jet lag, right? So this is malfunction in the melatonin. Or even sometimes us, when you are off, you want to sleep like till 2 p.m., right? You slept too much time, more than 12 hours maybe you're sleeping. But when you wake up, you feel very down. You feel no energy, like you are depressed. Although you slept a lot, you're supposed to wake up full energy, like you can do everything. But no, the opposite will happen. You'll be depressed, you'll feel mood down, everything is down. This is also because of the malfunction of the melatonin. So the malfunction in the melatonin causes two things, either jet lag or depression. Okay? You know, also sometimes for doctors, if a person has any problem in the sleeping pattern, they will also give them like melatonin tablets or even like gummies for melatonin, and the person will be sleeping better. So melatonin is already produced in our body naturally. Okay? The last gland we have is called thymus gland. Thymus gland is a gland in the center of your chest, in the thorax, which is the chest. So it secretes a lot of hormones. It secretes the thymic humoral factor, thymic factor, thymine, thymoputin, thymosin. All these hormones, just know that it's part of our immunity. So of course, if any problems in any of these hormones, it will cause low immunity. A person will be catching cold or flu easily because they don't have good immunity, and so on. Okay? So just know the name of the gland, thymus, and the hormones are all the same name, thymine, thymic humoral factor, thymosin, thymoputin. So all of these hormones part of your immunity. Any problem in this hormone, it will cause low immunity. Okay, that's it. So I want you, open book, to check the question that I will say and tell me the answer. Open book, okay? All are thymus gland hormones except